be saying the Jesus prayer and to live a life following the fasting schedule, giving, supporting the church with what you can do. These are the things that God will hold us accountable for, but mostly He'll hold us accountable for how we love our neighbor as ourselves. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, glory to Jesus Christ.
Glory forever.
Today we celebrate three great Russian saints. Two are martyrs, and the other one was a great ascetic in the wilderness. And there's not much you can say about Saint Sergius of Adonis. He was in the 14th century, and he was this incredible saint. Just an amazing guy. He lived out, away from people, but people still found him and came and stayed with him. The one story that I always remember about him is that not long after he had just begun to be there, to be out in the wilderness, far away from everyone, one of the younger men came to him and said to him, "Well, Father, every morning we have to get up and we have to walk a long distance to get water for the day. If we moved our habitation closer to the river, then it would be a little easier for us folks." And he said, "Well, I bless you to go live close to the river." He says, "But for me, I'm going to stay here." And so that was, that asceticism, that idea of making life harder for yourself than it actually need be. He epitomized that. And when he passed away, his body is incorrupt actually, and there's a great lavra now where he's buried, and a place where they train up priests as well. And so, if you've ever been there, you see that lavra. There's him, and then there's Saint Philaret of Moscow, and then there's Saint Innocent of Alaska, all within the same lavra. All their bones are within the same lavra, and it's a wonderful thing to venerate and to be there. I was there during a pre-sanctified liturgy the first time that I was in Russia, and it was just so incredibly powerful and beautiful. The singing was awesome. It just was like orthodoxy, It's like when we think of orthodoxy, that's like an Orthodox experience. It's so incredibly powerfully warm and beautiful and warm, and it's hard in this country actually to find something like that. It's developing. You might say we have Platina, we have St. Anthony's, we have places that are developing this kind of holiness and blessedness. But just like the other night when we saw the Vievo monastery film, the film about the Vievo, it's like you can't imagine how anybody could put up something so beautiful as that lavra that's there, the one in Vievo, where the bones of Saint Seraphim and all the fools for Christ are buried as well. So it's just one of these things where it should tell us and teach us that asceticism is a good path. To be an ascetic, to be saying the Jesus prayer, and to live a life following the fasting schedule, giving, supporting the church with what you can do. These are the things that God will hold us accountable for, but mostly He'll hold us accountable for how we love our neighbor as ourselves. And we hear the story of St. Elizabeth and Nun Barbara, Grand Duchess Elizabeth. We hear the story of someone who came to Orthodoxy from a different background. She wasn't born Orthodox, but she married the Archduke, or whatever he was called, and she became this pious, holy Orthodox woman, and she and her husband built the monastery of St. Mary Magdalene in Jerusalem. They actually built it themselves. They did it together. And then he was, of course, killed, murdered. And then eventually she and the people that were with her were thrown down by the communists, were thrown down a mine shaft. And after they'd been thrown down the mine shaft, they were singing holy songs, like Holy God, Holy Mighty, Holy Immortal, over and over again. And the communists were so enraged by what they were doing that they actually took grenades and threw them down and to blow them up so that they would stop the singing. But even after the bombs went off in the mine shaft, they could still be, the singing of Holy God could still be heard from outside of the where the mine shaft was. And so you can imagine how haunting that was for those men who had stooped to such low degree that they would actually kill such innocent people who their only job in life was to love God and love their neighbor as themselves. Grand Duchess Elizabeth started a sisterhood in Moscow that still stands to this day, and it's a tribute to all that they went through, all that the communists could throw at the Orthodox in Russia, all that they could do. They couldn't deter them. Eventually, this faith has been restored to fullness in Russia, and and so we can only pray here in America that as we grow in Orthodoxy, that it will continue to grow in each and every one of us. Orthodoxy as a path to salvation will grow in us to such an extent that there's just so much grace abounding in this kind of concept and idea. So for us, it's important that we really pay attention to what is going on, not in the world so much, but what is going on with us in God, so that we might have more abundance in Him and grow closer to Him and bring blessings to this country that so greatly needs the blessings of God at this time. So may God give each of you strength to be strong, like St. Sergius Radonezh. Be willing to do that, to go the extra mile, that you may be courageous, like Grand Duchess Elizabeth and Nun Barbara and those with them. That we would be courageous, strong, and full of the Spirit to carry forth in our life the command of Christ, which is to serve Him in all ways. So may God give you strength. Glory to Jesus Christ.
Glory forever.
Blessed art thou, O Lord, teach me thy statutes. Blessed are the blameless in the way who walk in the law of the Lord.